The Appalachian Mountains are some of the oldest mountains in the world. They stretch for hundreds of miles, covering forests, valleys, and hidden trails. But behind the natural beauty lies something darker. For centuries, travelers, hikers, and locals have spoken of strange disappearances, ghostly figures, and unexplained creatures that haunt the land. These mountains carry old folklore, whispered warnings, and chilling legends that pass from one generation to another. Some people believe that the land itself holds memories of past tragedies, wars, accidents, and deaths that never truly faded away. Others say the Appalachian wilderness hides doors to things we are not meant to understand. Tonight, we will step into that darkness together. Get ready for 9 unexplained Appalachian horror stories. Tales so chilling that they may change the way you see these mountains forever. Story 1. The Vanishing Hiker. It was supposed to be a simple weekend hike. A young man set off on a popular Appalachian trail, well-marked and not far from town. Hours later, he failed to return. Search teams combed the woods, calling his name. At first, they found clear boot prints in the dirt, but halfway up the trail, the tracks became strange. Instead of moving forward, they turned sharply into the forest, toward steep ground no one would normally walk on. Search dogs followed the trail, but after a few hundred yards, the scent simply ended. No blood, no signs of struggle, just silence. Local hunters whispered that this part of the forest was watched. They said there were shadows that moved between trees, following hikers who wandered too far. Some believe the young man was taken by something not human, something that makes sure no one ever finds the missing. To this day, his case remains unsolved. Story 2. The Crying Woman of the Mountains. Near the ruins of an old mining town deep in the Appalachians, travelers often report hearing something strange at night, the sound of a woman weeping. Her cries echo through the valleys, soft at first, then louder, until it feels like she is standing right beside you. One group of campers claimed they followed the sound, believing someone was in danger. As they reached the edge of the ruins, they saw her, a shadowy figure of a woman in white, bent over and sobbing. But when they called out to her, she lifted her head. She had no face. The cries stopped instantly. The air became heavy, and when they looked again, the figure was gone. Locals believe she is the ghost of a miner's wife who lost her husband in a collapse, wandering forever, searching for him. But others say she is something darker, luring the curious closer, feeding on their fear. Story 3. Cabin Lights in the Woods. 2 hunters were trekking through thick Appalachian woods when night began to fall. From a distance, they spotted something comforting, the warm glow of lantern light through the trees. It looked like a small cabin, smoke rising gently from its chimney. Cold and tired, they decided to head there, thinking they could ask for water or directions. But as they approached, something felt wrong. The cabin seemed to shift, almost flicker, as if it wasn't completely real. They pushed forward anyway. And then, in an instant, it was gone. Where the cabin had stood. Story 4. The Silent Church. High in the mountains stands the remains of an abandoned church. Its windows are broken, and its roof is partly caved in. But locals say the church is far from silent. At exactly midnight, the church bells ring loud and clear. Several hikers once camped nearby. Just after midnight, they heard not only bells, but faint voices like a sermon being preached. They lit their lanterns and crept closer. The doors stood wide open. Inside, the pews were empty. The pulpit was bare. Yet the voices grew louder, as if invisible people filled the room. One hiker dared to step inside. Instantly, the air turned icy cold. He swore he felt dozens of unseen eyes staring at him, pressing in from every direction. He fled, and the voices stopped. Some say the church congregation was wiped out by disease long ago, doomed to repeat their final midnight gathering forever. Story 5. The Appalachian Howler. Legends across the Appalachian region speak of a creature unlike any other. They call it the Appalachian Howler, a beast said to roam the forests at night. Described as wolf-like but far larger, with glowing red eyes and horns curling from its head, it strikes terror in anyone who claims to see it. One man, a seasoned hunter, said he heard it first. A bone-chilling howl ripped through the night, unlike any animal he knew. His dogs whined and refused to move forward. Moments later, two glowing eyes appeared in the distance, watching. The hunter raised his rifle, but when he blinked, the creature was gone. Only claw marks on a nearby tree remained, deep enough to shred bark like paper. Some believe the howler is a cursed spirit of the mountains, doomed to stalk those who wander after dark. Others say it is flesh and blood, hiding where no human dares to go. Either way, the howler is a legend that continues to spread fear. Story 6. Ghostly Trucker on the Mountain Road. On a narrow Appalachian highway, truckers whisper about a phantom vehicle that appears late at night. Drivers describe seeing headlights in their mirrors, blinding, speeding closer, as if another truck is right behind them. One driver swore the lights followed him for miles. They grew so close, he thought he would be rammed. But as he turned a sharp bend, the light simply vanished. Nothing was behind him. No engine sound, no brakes. Just empty road. Old records show that decades ago, a trucker lost control on that very stretch of highway. His truck overturned on the curve, bursting into flames. Many believe his restless spirit still drives the route, warning others, or perhaps seeking revenge. Even today, truckers avoid that bend after dark, fearing the ghostly headlights might return. Story 7. The Disappearing Village. In the deep Appalachian woods, explorers once stumbled upon a curious sight, a small cluster of cabins, smoke rising gently from chimneys. They swore they saw figures moving about, going about daily life. When they tried to approach, the villagers didn't react. It was as if they weren't really there. The explorers left to gather supplies and planned to return the next day. But when they came back, the entire village was gone. No cabins, no smoke, not even footprints in the soil. Some suggest it was a case of a time slip,
where travelers step briefly into another era. Others believe they saw the ghosts of a forgotten community lost to history. To this day, the explorers never forgot the sight of that silent, vanishing village.
Story 8. The Knock at the Window. A family living in a remote mountain cabin reported terrifying nights in winter. As snow piled against their door, they would hear a soft, deliberate knock on their windows. At first, they thought it was travelers seeking shelter, but when they checked, no one was there. The knocks continued night after night. Sometimes they were followed by scratching sounds, like fingernails dragging across the glass. One night, the father swore he saw a figure standing outside, a tall, shadowy shape with no face. It didn't move, it just stared. But the strangest part? There were never any footprints in the snow. Some locals believe it was a forest spirit, testing the family's courage. Others say it was something darker, a creature that waits for fear to open the door.
Story 9. The Endless Staircase. Deep in the Appalachian woods, hikers sometimes report a disturbing structure, a staircase standing alone in the middle of the forest, leading upward to nowhere. One group came across a tall stone staircase, moss covering its steps. Out of curiosity, one man climbed it. Halfway up, he froze. He said he felt his body grow light, as if the air was pulling him upward. His vision blurred, and when he came down, he swore he had lost an entire hour. Others have not been so lucky. Some hikers vanish after climbing too far. Search teams report finding the staircase, but they are warned never to touch it. The legend says these staircases are not built by humans at all, but by forces beyond our world, gateways to somewhere we are not meant to go.
The Appalachian Mountains are beautiful, but beauty often hides mystery. For every breathtaking view, there are shadows waiting in the trees. These 9 stories are only a small glimpse into the chilling folklore of the region. Were they ghosts, curses, creatures we cannot explain? Or are the mountains themselves alive, keeping secrets we may never uncover? One thing is certain. The Appalachians have a way of reminding us that we are never truly alone in the wilderness. So next time you hike a quiet trail or camp under the stars, listen carefully. The knock on the window, the glowing eyes in the dark, or the cry of a woman in the distance might not be your imagination. Stay safe and stay afraid.